Capital Games. I'm gonna ask you very nicely, very politely. Are you out of your minds? Hope you guys have some nice meat ready for the barbecue this week because we're about to salt this up a little bit. We have a lot of stuff we need to round out for this week. It's been kind of a weird week in Galaxy Heroes, and it's topping us off with one of the most boneheaded decisions I have seen in recent Galaxy Heroes history, and frankly, simply tone deaf. We got 5 topics that we're gonna break down for you today. The biggest one we need to talk about right now is if you're in Kyber, in general, you're gonna need 3 fleet defenses, and that means 3 fleet offenses. We're gonna talk about taking it and how to navigate through this bullschnitzery that we're about to endure. Get a load of this. Hackers in top 10 gone undetected in Galaxy of Heroes. Oh boy, get a load of this story when we get to it. We got the T3M4 Omicron, and on top of that, we have some community manager interesting situations happening here, and we're gonna roll some 8th Brother, 7th Sister Inquisitor gameplay and talk about that more towards the end, because frankly, this team is nothing special, and it's not really worthy of a review. But what's more worthy of a review is talking about all this stuff. So consider this to be an on old holonet podcast for the week. So grab a cup of Java Juice, kick back, relax, and let's get on into it. So let's throw that Inquisitor gameplay right behind us here. And why don't we start off with the first point of conversation. While doing our 8th Brother testing yesterday, midstream, just out of nowhere, someone with the infinite wisdom of Galaxy Heroes, they've heard your cries, they've heard your pleas and demands. You know, people are saying, I want more ships on defense, and Siege is like, I got you, bro. So if you take a look over here, let's go show you. Forum Post came out yesterday. It was just literally like, they just shot from the hip blindly and ran away here. After this season of Grand Arena Championships, which ends after this weekend, ends on this coming Monday, the Kyber League, the entirety of the Kyber League, will require 1 additional fleet on defense for a total of 3 fleet defenses. Banner and point thresholds in Kyber will be adjusted to account for this change. See you on the holotables. Enjoy your weekend, y'all. Oh my gosh, one of the most tone-deaf decisions we've ever seen. Now, let me clarify this. I probably wouldn't be as irritated if they maybe just left it to Kyber 1, but the entirety of Kyber, you're out of your minds, my friend. I don't know what you've been smoking, but come on, give me some, because you're on a whole other level of logic that just simply does not exist in this realm that we are currently. And the fact of the matter is, you guys are too lazy, incompetent, potentially, whoever's in charge of decisions over there, to even include fleet loadouts, but somehow you have the time to code the game to make us require more fleet defenses, and which requires more on offense. And as a result, what's gonna happen is you guys better get ready to get down dirty and sweaty like I've been lately. Get ready and be prepared for not being able to full clear nearly as often. If they wanted to do this, I'd understand Kyber 1, where I'm a frequent resident of the top 10 in Grand Arena, and I already got a game plan. It's not impossible for someone like me with all the fleets. Right now, you really only got 7 viable fleets that are kind of useful. Of course, you got the Executor, which I think this is one big reason why we're seeing this change. We'll talk about that. You have Malevolence, Negotiator, Finalizer's very competitive now. You got things like the Rebel fleet. You got things like the Empire fleet, mainly Chimera, TIE Interceptor. Very good fleet. I would argue maybe top 4 fleet in the game for the most part. Maybe some can even argue number 2. And then, of course, you got things like the Radis, and there's really nothing left for the Endurance. We don't have a lot of ships, and keep in mind, those are not even complete fleet loadouts right there. Some only can have 5 on the team, and you gotta save some for others, and the mathematics are working out. If you drop more than 1 battle on ships, mathematically, you ain't getting nowhere. You don't have the capability of being able to full clear. So really, you're only afforded to, let's say, drop that battle on Executor. Okay, you're all right. If you can't clean it up afterwards, you're donezo. No full clear. And that is assuming you got all the toys in the bin, like someone like me, someone who is fortunate enough to have this stuff right away to show you guys how they operate, but by no means the entirety of Kyber. So what this is gonna mean, if they're gonna stick to this bonehead decision, hold on to their guns, because they do not like community feedback at all, what it's gonna mean is you guys need to prepare for non-full clear situations, which is something I'm aware of. It's been something very common. The meta is heavy defense and try to make your opponent bleed banners, and most likely neither's gonna full clear, so it's gonna come down who's the most efficient without having the full clear, and you're gonna need to take in that consideration that ships is probably gonna be that area So you need to try to find a way to maybe stop them from going to ships, or make your whole strategy stop them behind ships, beat them everywhere else. So get used to that mentality moving forward here. I know full clears are satisfying, but a win is a win. We're out of the old days of Grand Arena where you need the banners in order to get to the next level of Kyber. You just need the win now. So it's going to get downright and dirty. And for someone like me, oh boy, it's going to get extra sweaty because you don't have a lot of wiggle room for ships. And I think this is really because the finalizer fleet got so much better at the tie echelon. Fun fact, I've been in top 10 for like the past 2 weeks now. You know, it's not the first time, won't be the last, all that fun stuff. I haven't seen the Executor. I think I saw it once out of the past 2 weeks of top 10 players, because the echelon has done an amazing thing for fleets. Executors owners are scared because why put it down when the Executor has got the most consistency to be countered by the tie echelon over the Malevolence, where it was kind of a coin toss situation. So people have been taking their Executors on offense. And as a result, and I think this has been fantastic, the average of banners on ships have gone up. I haven't complained about ships. The 2 shots, the new 1 shot, we haven't really been talking about that lately because one, the echelon's the most consistent counter over the Malevolence mathematically, as we're seeing right now. And when you have the things like TIE Interceptor, elevating the viability of the Empire fleet, we've been seeing the average of banners sometimes go above 70. I had a 74 banner win the other day in ships. That has not been the deal since the Executor rolled in back this past fall. So CG, if you're really sticking to your guns in this, contain the Kyber 1, not Kyber 2, nothing lower than that. Most people don't have the fleets unless your intention's one of a few things. You intend to blast a ton of ships in the game to fill out these rosters more, put things like on the Endurance. Maybe this is where we're going to see the capital ship, the Ravager. We're still waiting on that leak to come out. We haven't seen it quite yet. We need fleet loadouts as well. Right now, this is just, it seems tone deaf. It seems like you guys don't care. And it seems like this is more of a response to make the Executor a threat again on defense. And I think even though I haven't seen it on defense the past several weeks, I think it's going to come back, because if you can make sure they drop that battle, which don't get me wrong, the tie echelon is a better counter to the Malevolence, the 1 shot, but you know what? You have to be prepared for a 2-shot situation. And an Executor mirror matches, those are still a bit RNG festival depending on your relic levels compared to your enemies. So I think it's one of the stupidest decisions I've seen in CG for a while now, and they've done a lot of stupid things in the past here. So nonetheless, I hope CG is going to roll this back. I think it's a bad thing for the community. It's not the time. And the fact that you're doing this for fleet loadouts, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind, my friend. We can keep going on about this point. We got some other stuff to talk about. Get a load of this story. I've always called CG on this. I actually had a situation where someone was hacking against me when the Grand Arena changes first came in. We were winning. We got it to top 50 right away. And then all of a sudden, I realized I came across the fact that I actually beat a hacker in Galaxies. And this wasn't like, you know, you're in like Carbonite 1000 or something like that. This was Kyber, brand new season, and we got to top 50 right away. And I beat someone that was hacking, and it went undetected by CG until others, myself, brought it to their attention. What if I told you just recently there was someone in the top 10 with me? I'm actually in their bracket right now. They're not playing anymore, as I'm going to show you. What if I told you they got caught hacking, but they self-reported to CG in order to get themselves banned? CG could not detect this person in the top 10 of Kyber 1 was hacking against other players. Absolutely mind-blowing. I've always told you guys that I firmly believe CG does not have adequate cheat detection unless it's something blatantly obvious like Cup Solo versus Jedi Master Kenobi. Wow, it only takes a half a brain cell to realize that's probably a hacking situation here. But here's the thing. This is the main problem. No matter how much smoke and mirrors CG's trying to use and make you feel like they're doing an amazing job, it's not. It's almost like a trash can doing cheat detection, because here's the problem that CG has. By the way, this is the statement from the person I hacked. I'm going to block their name, but you could, there's not a lot of people in top, well, now they're not top 10, but they were top 10 before they admitted to cheating to CG. Let's back up a little bit here. This blows my mind. The problem with the game right now is when you go into battle, there's no server. And from what I've been told from the guild that discovered this hacker and made him report themselves to CG, is that these hacks are just absolutely mind-blowing, way more advanced than when I was told a couple years ago about this. Originally, I was told, you know, you pretty much max out your durability, max out your offense, basically be unkillable, but you can do some serious damage. Well, luckily, the SWGoH.gg website made it a bit more obvious when there was hackers like that. But there are hacks that let you have infinite 0 cooldowns, messing up the enemy's cooldowns, and being able to control things like the arc turret deployment, which is pretty insane. The hacks have gotten so advanced, but the problem is when it's not server side and it's only local based, As you guys know, you can go into airplane mode in battle. Once the battle's over, you have to turn off airplane mode to send the win or loss to the capital game. Since this game is not server side based when you're in battle, you can alter the code and work things in your favor. And sometimes just a little bit to make sure you get that slight little edge to get those extra few banners to end up winning the Grand Arena. Well, here we go. This is the statement that the person made. And again, they had to self-report. A top 10 player had the self-report in order for CG to find them. So anytime you see CG saying they're taking cheating seriously, it's a bunch of BS. I'm sorry. It's just PR, fun statements make you feel all happy and giddy inside. They really don't have the tools to handle this situation. And unless it's blatantly obvious or someone comes out of the blue and reports themselves, they're not going to discover. And again, I blocked out their name because I'm taking this as true. It seems like they're having a rough time in life. I don't need billions of people to maybe make their life even worse, but cheating sucks. No, there's really no excuse for it at that point in time. But nonetheless, they had to self-report themselves for CG to pick up on it. You guys did a banger job over there. $1 billion game. Fun fact, this game has made more money than Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 combined. So it's not like this is some poor indie studio. These are people that have made more money than AAA games out there. I think if anything, it's one of the most profitable Star Wars mobile games of all time. Oh gosh, it drives me crazy seeing how poorly managed this game is. Anyways, moving on from that, another thing that happened this week, which unfortunately was not super newsworthy because, well, in my opinion, territory Omicrons are things you really shouldn't be putting too much effort in. For the most part, T3M4 got an Omicron upgrade earlier this week, right after the kit reveal for the 8th brother. We had a kit reveal for the T3M4 Omicron. We'll read it off. I'll give you my opinion. If this was Grand Arena, I would actually slightly consider this, but the problem is territories. We've had this discussion a lot. I don't want to kind of keep beating a dead Jawa or beating a dead Gungan, whatever you prefer to be dead, over and over and over again. Territorial Omicrons, I don't think you're getting nearly as much bang for your buck. Yeah, there's Relic 9, but Relic 9 is such an extreme luxury. Territories are so infrequent, so the amount of time, investment, value you're getting out of an Omicron, far less, 4 times a month versus 12 times a month with Grand Arena Omicrons minimum. And there's crystals in Grand Arena that keeps your daily economy flowing. Territories does not have that much of an impact. Now, of course, they make it more lucrative, more repeatable like Grand Arena. I might have a different opinion, but right now, territorial Omicrons aren't really worth their value. In my opinion, Mara Jade, yeah, like there's a couple key ones like Mara Jade, Captain Phasma, maybe Boba Fett if you want me to be in a better mood. But nonetheless, there really isn't a lot of need to go all in on territorial Omicrons. That's going to kind of go into our conversation about these Inquisitors later on in this conversation. Anyways, T3M4 Omicron, it says, while in territory wars, that's pretty much when I stop and say, all right, we're not going to bother about making a whole dedicated video for this. At the start of the encounter, T3M4 gains stealth for 2 turns, and droid ally gains 15 armor penetration and 30% max health. That 30% max health is actually kind of important for droids, as we're going to talk about. Droid allies have plus 20% defense for each target locked enemy, plus 20% defense while debuff, and plus 20% defense while buff. At the start of T3M4's turn, inflict target lock for 2 turns on a random enemy who does not already have it, which cannot be evaded. Then all allies cover 5% health and protection for each target locked enemy. This is actually kind of cool because we're seeing a resurgence in the droid noob team, as it was coined back in 2008 when Grievous got his rework. One of the best ways to counter Darth Revan was to nuke him. Grievous, BB-8, T3M4, slap on those Zetas, IG-88, you put those guys in there, and pretty much you're an Imperial Probe Drive, of course. Crazy fast team, very hard to outrun unless you could stop the Terminator or have Han Solo. Even if Han Solo shoots first, can't quite stop him. Pretty Nartana strips a lot of banners, and in Grand Arena, banners are being sniped for health and protection, where we don't have that type of calculation. For territory wars, it's only, are you alive or are you dead? That's how the banners are allocated, and how many times did it take you to defeat a particular enemy here. This would have been really cool for Grand Arena, but here I see this mainly because one of the prime counters to stop General Grievous is Commander Luke Skywalker. Well, when your defense is being increased and the durability of the team is being increased and you're getting a lot of health protection recovery, it's going to make this a little bit more tricky to get through. And the 30% max health boost is mainly targeted at Grievous because Grievous's damage is based off what? His max health, and 30% off one of the characters with some of the higher max healths in the game. It's pretty nice. You get what I'm getting at here? Unfortunately, again, territory wars, not as important as Grand Arena, where you need kind of a lot more teams in Grand Arena for both offense, defense, cleanup situations. For the most part in territory wars, there are better teams right now. You might not really use this that much. And again, the reward, the payoff for only 4 times a month and for maybe some Relic 9s that really aren't that important in the game right now, except for a few characters like Piet, Jedi Master Luke. Not a lot of bang for your bucks. Unfortunately for me, probably going to skip over this, but if it was Grand Arena, I actually would not think too hard about this one right here. Next up, community manager meltdown. If you guys probably heard, I think some people made it a way bigger deal than it was. Yes, it's a little unfortunate. One of our community managers, yes, we have 2 community managers. Somehow, remember that episode of The Office that season where they took the manager's job and split it into 2? It was kind of like, and then we had the new CEO come in and they're like, that's them. Only one of you guys need to be the manager. Nonetheless, the Galaxy was kind of weird where we had 2 community managers. But one of them, Dojafet, which I will say this, I feel like they were one of the better things that happened in Galaxy of Heroes. I don't think they did anything unique, but I think they were able to communicate with the audience a little bit more. We saw them on SWGoH events. Of course, we never had the honor and privilege of really talking with the community managers. That's more of a CG management team. From what I could tell, the community managers would like to work with me, but there's someone up higher behind the curtains that hates us. And you know what? I wear that badge of a little bit of pride. I gotta say that. Nonetheless, we lost our community manager, Dojafet. Basically, it seems like they found greener pastures out there. And this isn't anything huge. This isn't anything to cry about. Life is gonna move on. We've lost a lot of community managers. And although Dojafet did an all right job, there's been community managers that have done a lot more. And some that had bigger visions. But at CG management, for what I can tell, I've had some post relations with pretty much all the community managers. And the main theme that I've seen is that internally, not the best work environment. Management's too strangling of the creativity and the desires of the community managers that what they want to do. A lot of fantastic ideas. Fun fact, some of those ideas, when they moved over to places like Marvel Strike Force, they implement all this community interaction and videos and stuff like that. We were supposed to get that in this game, but for some reason, people up higher up, they don't like interacting, it seems like, with the community nearly as much. So that's why they strangle that desire that community managers have. Now, I don't know if that's Dojafet's situation, but it seems like he found greener pastures. And this is the story I see with a lot of the community managers that have come and went. EA Jesse, Kazi's Poo, SWGoH, many others. This isn't the first. This isn't the last. Community managers are they're easy to come across, and they're not as important in the development of the game. The game's still gonna go on. It's big news when the senior producer or the brainchild John Solera moves on, who created Galaxy Heroes. That's kind of a big deal because they're important for the direction of Galaxy Heroes. So unfortunately, Doja leaving. Seems like they found greener pastures. Good for them. That seems to be the deal. Everyone finds better job opportunities. And all the community managers I've been in touch with since then, they've had a much better job opportunity since then and a better life after leaving Capital Games. So I don't envy them whatsoever, who has to run the community managers and deal primarily with the CG side of things over there. However, the reason why I bring this up here is because we had no intel on who the community manager is going to be. And fun fact, although we do have Crumb, it seems like Crumb is not going to be with us temporarily for a little bit of time. Of course, we don't get this communication in Galaxy of Heroes. Thanks to Reddit for pointing this out. For those that might know, there's a game called Disney Sorcery, and it's pretty much like Galaxy of Heroes, Marvel Strike Force, Raid Shadow Legends, but it's got Disney characters. Think for my lady, the Star Destroyer, plays Disney Sorcery in a Cinch launch. She loves that game. It's got things like Buzz Lightyear, Woody, Zurg, all those type of characters. Dash, Moana. Think of that. Basically Galaxy of Heroes, but with Disney characters. And we got this notification, not through the developers here in Galaxy Heroes, but through the Disney Sorcerer's Arena. Oh man, $1 billion, baby. Gets you a lot, doesn't it? Anyways, there's a community manager over there. This is really weird. It's like the first I've ever seen this happen. Instead of finding someone at CGEA to temporarily fill in the place of Crumb. Apparently, Crumb is going to be leaving temporarily to paternity leave. They discovered the dark arts of Kamino and cloning capabilities, and apparently have someone coming, and they're going to be entering fatherhood. So big congrats to Crumb on that. Again, finding out through this is a little bit weird, but nonetheless, I'll read their message here. This is from their community manager over there called Meathead Militia, and I've heard mixed reviews. I have zero experience with them. My lady, the Star, she's not really active in these type of communities, so she doesn't know much about them. But from what I've heard about them, I've heard great things. I've heard bad things. I've heard bad things that they like to ban people who don't abide by their opinions, so they censor more. I don't know if that's true. Just reading off the comments off Reddit and those that have that opportunity, I've heard that. But I've also heard some good things. Most likely, I'm never going to have the opportunity to even talk to them because of CG's policy of a no talk to Arnold situation, which is perfectly fine. I'll read this off to you. So, hey, Summoners. That's like saying, hey, Holotable Heroes. Hey, Commanders. Kid Marvel Strike Force. As you know, we are a big family here at EA. So when one of our family members needs help, the Glue team, that's the team that develops Disney Sorcery now, are ready to step up. The team over at Capital Games will soon temporarily lose their community manager. This is in regards to Crumb, not Doja. Doja's gone for good. Crumb's going to be gone for a while to embark on that exciting adventure called Fatherhood. In the coming weeks, I'll be splitting duties between Disney Sorcerer's Arena and Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes to help them for a limited time. So a competing game I don't even think that. I think actually, if I'm correct, I think EA recently bought out Glue. I don't know, but still, it's technically a competing game to Galaxy. Whereas instead of finding someone maybe more in the EA family that's not directly competitive Galaxy, whatever. Nonetheless, what they're going to be doing is they're still going to be active through all their normal channels in Disney Source Arena. But their goal is to make sure business as usual continues for both games, but there may be hiccups along the way, so your patience is greatly appreciated. See you in the arena or holotable or both. So a little weird. I've never really seen that, so I love the title from Semigod saying that we will temporarily have 0.5 community managers soon. Now, again, it's one of those things where that's not a knock on the position. I think when they have unlimited control in what they do, I think it's really amazing. But when you're really hindered by the studio, aka CG, community manager roles aren't really as important as developing the game. So I'm not going to expect a lot in terms of communication. The game is still going to go on. It's not the end of the world, but this is again, $1 billion game. I don't know what goes on at CG. They must have maybe a hard time holding on to employees or people that are willing to do this job between managing community, wanting to interact with more, but then dealing with the chokehold that the management team. Again, it's not the development team. Maybe it is, but the people who manage the game, I don't think they manage it nearly as well as you would like to. And then why don't we go ahead and wrap this conversation up here? Man, weird stuff this week. Let's wrap our conversation up with the Inquisitors. Fun fact, I didn't make an initial character review on the Seventh Sister, that's Wampa, on the Seventh Sister, nor the Eighth Brother. Normally, day after, we do like an initial character review or a reaction at the minimum if they're nothing too special. Unfortunately, they're nothing even that special to really be talked about. The Inquisitors team, unfortunately, I was hoping by the time we had 4 members, like the Bad Batch, there would be a team that was evident, and there's not. Bad Batch were amazing, technically by 3, but 4, they were a 4-man team. They could solo Grievous, Jedi Knight Revan, Darth Revans, plug in whatever you want. The 5th, you're good to go. That's not the case with the Inquisitors. Even the 7th Sister, I like the 7th Sister and the 9th Sister. Those 2 Inquisitors members are actually the best. We have some solid healing and ability blocks, Terminator control with the 7th Sister. 9th Sister is a fantastic tank for the Empire. Frequent taunt, AoE days that can't be resisted by Jedi. Some pretty cool stuff. 8th Brother, I'm not quite a fan of him. The attackers so far, 2nd Sister and 8th Brother, seem a little bit lackluster right now. They're not putting out solid damage. And the main problem this team is having is Purge. It's getting a lot more frequent. We're seeing a lot of Purge out there, but it's easily cleansable, or they dispel it themselves, and then the other Inquisitors can't benefit off of it. So right now, I'm not a huge fan of the Inquisitors team. And I think the problem is here, I think they're really going to rely on the Grand Inquisitor. And what I'm worried about is this team's going to be too niche. Right now, it seems like the Grand Inquisitor is meant to be a Territor Kenobi killer, which is cool. But what I fear is that they're going to require all the Omicrons. And what I'm thinking, and the community's thinking, is the Grand Inquisitor is going to trigger all these leads and make them into unique abilities potentially, or combine them for everyone to share. That's going to be nice. But in Territories, heavy Omicron required potentially, if our theory is correct. And the sad thing is, if they're not going to be good against other stuff, all you got to do is just not put Jedi Master Kenobi on defense. And now you got a fantastic offensive tool at your disposal. Then the Inquisitors team might be used at that point. So right now, if you're wondering why we haven't heard much about the Inquisitors, because right now I don't quite see a team. At best, I think they're fun of Emperor Palpatine lead, especially the Purge, them able to dispel it themselves. Feeds a lot of turn meter. So I think you can maybe get like a C- team out of them right now, but by no means this is a team you should be dropping everything for. And we don't know if Grand Inquisitor is going to be a 5-star. Like, there's just no intel on this stuff right now. So right now, I think the Inquisitors are kind of a passable faction. Even, boy, I hope they have some viability out of Territories. I'm hoping they have some little viability in Grand Arena, at least Bad Batch viability with the Grand Inquisitor and whatever Inquisitors members are going to be there. Because keep in mind, we have one more coming that's going to be needed to unlock the Grand Inquisitor. So we're going to have a total of 6, and we don't know who's going to be kicked out. Or maybe there's going to be a way to spawn that 6th member. We'll have to wait and see. Right now, unfortunately, it's not the craziest characters on the block. I think they have potential. Bladed Hilt was kind of cool. I wish this had a tenacity down, couldn't be avoided. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We're going to have to wait and see. Right now, the Inquisitors is not quite the team that I was hoping for, but I think they will become more something down the road. But I gotta say, these have been some of the most boring characters I've tested in a while. Almost reminds me of the Prepared Squadron or Prepared Crew back in 2018. Wasn't a crazy team back then. I'm getting vibes of that right now, but we can't fully evaluate it because this isn't their intention. We need the Grand Inquisitor, and I don't know if what I'm seeing right now, none of these guys are fantastic with Lord Vader right now. Boy, and Lord Vader's already a rough team. I feel like they make it a little bit rougher if you do a full Inquisitor team of 4 with Lord Vader. Nonetheless, that's going to wrap it up for your On Holonet podcast. A lot of stuff being thrown at you. Hopefully, you guys are going to have a fantastic freaking weekend. Make sure to leave that like, subscribe if you don't want to miss a thing, and all the fun we're having here in the director of the Video Gaming Division's chamber. And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, Gungs and Droids, thank you for stopping by. And on the way out, always remember that it's great to be in the Empire today.